I kept waiting. I waited for him. It seemed like he wasn't going to show up. So I waited underneath the gazebo at the park, beautiful evening, waiting for my date to show up, and he hadn't been here yet. And I thought, this is the beginning of something really bad going on in my life. He wasn't going to show up, and here I was, now in my 30s. Is this going to be the new way things are going to be? Is this the new reality? So after 10 minutes, I pick up my smartphone, and boom, he text messages me. He basically text messaged me what I was going to text message him. He said, "Where are you?" I was like, waiting for you at the gazebo at the park. His response was, "I'm at the gazebo at the park. Where are you? Are you messing with me?" And I'm like, "No." And we said, "I'm at this park." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm at that park." And I'm thinking, is this some kind of Twilight Zone crap where we fall into another parallel universe? It turned out he was at another gazebo further down the park, and I forgot about that gazebo. So we both agreed to walk and meet each other halfway. With the sun pouring on his back, we got closer and closer and closer. You know, I couldn't see, barely could make out a figure of him. It was just a, just a silhouette kind of shape, And I could see that he was about 5'6", stocky, good build. And as soon as I could see him in perspective, once he got on the other side, I could, with the sun facing him, I could finally see him. I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And his first thing he said to me was, "Yeah, I could take you. I could definitely take you." I was like, I love that. That was one of the cutest things anyone's ever said to like a little pickup thing. I thought that was really cool. I laughed, and it was really good. But the point is, we had a really good date. We laughed. We had so much in common, and and he was a little ditzy, and it's kind of great. That was a young quality to him, but he was older. He was like in his late 20s, and here I was now in my 30s, and I was very, very like paranoid. Like, oh no, this is not going to go good because I'm in my 30s now. I was just paranoid by this number 30. So the date was awesome. It couldn't have went better. It was spectacular. And, the reason why I was so worried is because, 30s is so cursed. Like, it's the beginning of the end. It's all going to go bad. Your peak was in your 20s. Everything's downhill from now. And for me, that's simply not true. In fact, there's been more good experiences in my dating in my 30s than anything remotely close to anything in my 20s. My dating, I'm going to give you a visualization here. This is my dating in my 20s and how good it is. And this is my dating in my 30s and how good it is. There's no comparison. By far, dating in my 30s as a gay man has been far superior than my 20s. Now, I have heard of heterosexual men, and I actually know quite a bit, that have had their 30s was not nearly as good as their 20s. In fact, I have family members that would definitely say, 20s was the best. It just went downhill. Not for me, and maybe because I'm gay, and maybe other gay men have similar experiences to me. And if so, feel free to agree or disagree. Comment below. Say, "Hey, Matt, I totally disagree. You're wrong," or whatever. Feel free to. This is what this is all about. So, whew, threw a story at you right there. I will tell you this. I tried setting up this video a million times, and it has been a disaster. I broke a lot of stuff trying to do this video, and it's silly. I know. I'm just clumsy, and I could show outtakes of this, like things falling down, like my light thing fell. I don't know why. I must have not screwed it back in when I put the overhead light in. It just fell, the thing did. So really, that's kind of dangerous thinking about it. So everything's taken care of. The ducks are in order. It's time to, I guess, start the continuing the video here. But so what I'm trying to say is, with this video, I'm doing, dating for gay men in their 30s, and like I said, it was a very good experience. And so in this video, I'm going to just tell you, what all the good stuff about it, all the good stuff I've had, my experiences, and why I think it's really good. But I'm going to say there's some drawbacks that I've experienced and that aren't as pleasant as they were in my 20s. So there are pros and cons, but keep in mind, this is more of a positive video, and there's a lot of good stuff to look forward to if you are in your 20s and you go into your 30s. And it could be that maybe in your 40s and you could say, yeah, I agree or I disagree. Just feel free to help out everyone here, you know, help out people that are in their 30s maybe, or just turned 30s or their 20s. So I hope I made sense when I said that. So, okay, here we go. So one of the best things about being, you know, dating in your 30s, especially if you're a gay guy, is the quality of the conversations have definitely stepped up. They're more articulate, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be articulate, right? But they're very intellectually stimulating. We talk about a wide range of topics as opposed to, you know, the typical topics that a lot of guys talk about. The pace of the conversations is a little more slower. We basically envelop the conversation. We stay on one kind of topic for a while. So let's say we talk about canoeing or something, or white water rafting or something. We would talk about that for a little while. We wouldn't just keep saying, oh yeah, I did that, change gears, change gears, change gears. When I was in my early 20s, we were changing my dates and even just talking to friends and stuff. We changed gears quite quickly. And that's great and all when you're younger, but when you get older, you kind of like to go a little more deeper into the subject and stuff and focus more in on stuff. And that's basically what dating is about for me in my 30s. We focus in on each other. And that's been a really great aspect of it. And they're not usually that boring. They're actually pretty good. And I'm always on alert and I'm always paying attention. And we always, for the dating I've been on, we would bounce questions back and forth. So, you know, we're always engaging with each other, and it's very stimulating. And there's that spice of romance in all of it, you know, and the little hints of it. We sort of sprinkle back and forth with each other, a little flirting, and it's not like a direct flirting. It's like I don't know. It's more of like a quieter flirting. I like that, and I really do. And like I said, it was romantic, and it's just a really it's just in not just the communications, but the environment. Like the environments I go to in my 30s are nothing like I did in my 20s. Like in my 30s, we go into these more elaborate, more expensive places. In my 20s, it wasn't. I don't mind going to those places, more, you know, more younger targeted, you know, like sports bars or anything like that. Not that there's anything wrong going to them in the 30s. I absolutely love them. I'll go on dates with them even now, but it is a different experience going to these more like ritzy places in a sense. Like what I mean by that is it's like you know, one of those special places like where they serve all different kinds of craft beer or wine and stuff like that. And it's very expensive food. So, yeah, it's a great experience, and it's quieter. So I'm able to hear and listen, and people don't feel as, like, you know, it's more, I guess, more accepting of like gay friendly. So they're more cooler. Like if a bunch of gay guys go there or a gay couple goes there and no one doesn't think of it. So it's a lot, you feel better going to those places. Though, and also, another thing is the way the date's dress has changed. It's not like they go to a date wearing just gym clothes. They actually dress nice. They dress up. And don't get me wrong, in 20s, guys do that in their 20s too. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying I didn't see that as much as I did in my 30s. I feel like guys perhaps have more money, you know, so they have time to dress up and look good and stuff like that. And I really find that as a sign of respect. Speaking of that, I feel like when I go to a date, we automatically have mutual respect for each other. And I think that's amazing. Before, sometimes in my 20s, some of the dates, I feel like I had to earn respect. And I have a different view on that. So yeah, that's something to think about for me. Another thing I would say is how the time frame of the dates are a lot longer. And that's great because it gives me more opportunity to get to know someone. So I would say, you know, when I was younger, maybe 1 to 2 hours for a date. But me, it's more like 2 to 4 hours. So it's definitely gotten longer. I mean, I've had one that was 6 hours. And that's not including, you know, nothing afterwards. It's just that. Speaking of which, the dates aren't revolving. For me, the dates I went on are not revolving around sex. They don't. In the 20s, I felt like it's like, okay, let's get to know each other and have sex. Not that there's anything wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with having sex on the first date, in my opinion. But my goal on dates is to engage and get to know someone, not necessarily immediately on an intimate level. Call me a classical guy. So my getting to know someone is so much more important than getting to know someone in underneath the bed sheets. That's making love, and that's something that you aim for, is making love and connecting to yourself on a different level, and that's great. But for being, like I said, classical guy, that's just how I want to go about dating. But my 30s, that whole everything's revolved about, like, you know, sexual flirtation, you know, that kind of stuff, and that's been kind of removed. It's kind of put on the back burner. It's something that, yeah, it's there, but we'll get to it when we cross that bridge. So, and adding on to that, men are more patient. To a lot of men I think in their 30s, straight or gay, is more patient towards that. You know, they're like, oh, I can wait. No big deal. I can just go home and, you know, bust one, but you know, and that's really great. And I think patience is something you get as you get older. It's something you acquire more, and that's just a really good quality of becoming older. I could keep going on, but it's, you know, it's overall the dating has been much happier, upbeat, less toxic, better communications, better engagement, better environments, better quality of the people I meet on the date. So it's just summarizing all of that. Really, really overall good. Now, as far as the bad things, I think the biggest thing that stands out is especially in the gay community, is the dating pool went from this to this. So as you get older, I feel like the dating pool keeps shrinking because, you know, there's a lot more single gay men apparently, and that are younger. Now, there are a lot of single gay men, but there's not already the gay dating pool is small enough, but there's a lot more guys in their early mid-20s that are single. But as you get older, it just starts to just get smaller, or maybe the people fall off. I don't quite know why that's the case, but for me, it's been a challenge trying to find somebody. And that's why I get worried about that magical clock ticking. I just get worried that maybe when I get my 40s or 50s, that you give up. Like, heck, that's dating. That's a thing of the past. I hope it don't get that way. I hope datings continue to get great and I have more opportunity. So another bad thing I would say is the conversations. Again, I mean, I'm just kind of going back on my word. I'm not trying to sound like that, but sometimes the conversations I have with a lot of 30-year-olds are incredibly boring, and I about fall asleep. And talking to a 21-year-old is a breath of fresh air. It's maybe the commonalities I have with a lot of 30-year-olds. I just don't have that. Like, I guess maybe a part of me just didn't evolve and change. Like a lot of people that are my age group I used to play video games when I was 25 or when I was in college or something. And for me, it's like, I still play video games. Is there something wrong? You know, and it's like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just people's hobbies change and mine hasn't really shifted. A lot of 30-year-olds are all about their career. They like to talk about their career and all that, and that's wonderful. But I don't like to always talk about my career. I don't like to talk about that stuff. I like to talk about like outdoors and anything different, you know, anything unusual. It could be anything, but I just feel like it's a lot of them I've talked to is they always talk about, I want to buy a house and things like that, or I want to, you know, I want to put more money into Bitcoin and stuff like that. And, you know, I don't have much to say on that. And one thing is I have an income difference. Is when I was in my 20s, people either made less than me or about the same, But now the dates in my 30s, everyone's making gigundous, way more money than me. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there are a lot of people that make a lot less money than me. I'm not trying to say that, but I feel like every date I went on, every guy's making not just a little bit more, but a crap load more money than me. Boku's of money more than me. And it makes me feel like I feel so poor. And I mean, they almost always implicitly buy me dinner and stuff. They don't even think about it. It's like they know I don't make much money. And I don't think I'm necessarily poor. I mean, I've worked hard to get where I'm at, and it hasn't been easy. But compared to these people, I don't know how they did it. I'm actually amazed. I'm not trying to say I'm jealous, but it just makes me feel, I don't know, lesser. And I shouldn't feel that way, but I do. And then I could keep going on to some other negative ones, but they don't necessarily compare to the benefits. But I will touch off on one last one called age discrimination. And I've talked about this in other videos, but particularly in the gay world, I feel like older gay men have trouble dating compared to straight men. I feel like straight men, women are always targeting men in general, like older men, you know, in their 40s and so on. And I don't feel like that's the case for gay men. I feel like you kind of like get abandoned in a sense or something. I don't know. I just feel like that a lot of people are always chasing after that younger guy that's 21 or 20. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but the fact is it's just like there's just a shift where everyone's always favoring the youth, and it's strange to me. It's like, you know, I know that like a 50-year-old, if let's just say I was dating a 45 or 50-year-old, and they were good looking or whatever, and they found me attractive, we liked each other, I have a feeling they would drop me over someone even younger. Like I'm just, you know, that's how I honestly feel. I feel, you know, because I'm older, I'm not as attractive, or I'm not as valued, because people heavily value physical appearance, and young people are physically very attractive looking. And I feel like people veer for that. And I'm saying I feel like that, but I've seen it on dating. I've seen people drop me, and that's why I'm mentioning this over it. And it hurts. It's not easy. And I know it's happened to some of you guys. Even if you're 25, you might have been dropped for a 22-year-old or a 21-year-old. It hurts. And it is a strange world we live in, but besides that, if I could pick at anything, but overall, compared to the positives totally outweigh the negatives. And I'm not making that up. Try it out. If you're in your 20s, you will be able to try it out soon. So it's inevitable. If you are single and you're looking to date in your 30s, try it out. I think you'll find out that it's not that bad. So it's something to look forward to. And if you've already in your 30s and haven't dated, just get out there and try it. And if you're in your 40s, well, maybe you can provide some advice or something to the other crowd below. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. It just blabbed. I know it wasn't as structured as I wanted it to be, but trust me, this video was one of the hardest videos I've ever had to do. And it wasn't this part. It was everything surrounding the video. And I do apologize. It just wore me out to pieces. But hopefully we'll do a better job and it won't be as stressful as before. All right, guys. Till next time, and you guys be good and stay positive, and yeah, enjoy life, what it has to offer, because no matter what situation you're in, there's always a little room of trying to enjoy life. And that's kind of been my motto lately. All right, guys. All right, bye.